Good morning, magical art explorers. Haven't been here for a while. I have been taking care of my health, so it's just been a process of doing things a little bit more slowly these days. But I wanted to come back because I have this awesome, really great little, thing, this craft that I want to show you today. It's called Cardboard Cactus in a Can. And I just like coming up with quirky little titles for things. All you're going to need today to do this is a cat food can. And I am using a Lindy's box. We love Lindy's in this house, let me tell you. So I use their cardboard for all sorts of things. So here we go. We're going to start off with a can. And what I want you to do is just have a whole Lindy's box here. And we're going to cut it up. And I'll show you the parts we're going to use and why. So I like to cut my cardboard up in sections. Because it allows uniformity for some things. Some things are just the right size. I mean, just cut the section off. And also, it's just not a big mess. Because sometimes it's a pain in the butt when you got folds everywhere. It's a lot easier to work without any folds. Part one. So we're going to talk about what are we going to put. I'm going to put this little round thing on the bottom here. And I found that this is just almost the right size. We just have to cut it down just a little bit. And honestly, don't worry about cutting a straight line. This is not a straight line. I promise you it is not. But if it's, will fit just inside. Oh, and you're going to need tape. You need some tape too. And you're going to fit that right inside. I lost my tape over here. Oh boy. This is what happens when you don't prepare. Sometimes you have to prepare. Life does not always come easily. I can feel it. You know, the worst thing about tape is feeling that little tiny edge. Like, where is the edge of it? And it has, oh, there we go. It has to be around here somewhere. I've probably gone by it 3 times already. Come on, really? This is like a whole minute of my... There we go, I found it. Yep, there it is. Because you can't see it because it's dun-dun-dun, clear tape. And it was literally on that spot that I thought it was. This is honestly a terrible tape to use. This stuff I bought, I think I bought it at the dollar store. I will never do that again. All right. Technical difficulties. We're going to take this off. You young people aren't going to have to do this, but us old people. How did I lose that? And I just used this tape. This is going to be a bloopers reel, guys. I might have to start this one over. Nope. It was in the same spot. And that's how much tape I have to waste to get my tape back on here. But this is real life, okay? So art is not, this is a lesson here. First of all, art is not always cut and dry and easy. Sometimes our supplies don't want to work with us. And we have to just be patient. Patient. And now we have tape. Tape is not always my best friend. Very rarely is tape my best friend. Alright, so we're just going to tape this on here. Make a little circle. You don't go do it all the way around too. And I'm going to reinforce it because I don't feel secure in my tape job. Alright, here we go. We're going to sort of bend it a little bit because we want it to be pliable and to fit inside. right in there, just sort of like right on the inside, not all the way to the edge. There's a reason for that. So the next thing we need to do is create our cactus. Now this is a standard cactus. If you want to look up cactus styles, you can make your own. Feel free, but please just follow the rest of the instructions on how to create the other parts. First part, let's create the cactus. And what I found when I was creating these is that I can't take it off because it's taped. This part right here doesn't go all the way across. I would really like it to because it adds stability. So what I'm going to do is just sort of measure that much across and put a notch there. Now why am I doing that? This is because I'm going to use just the inside area in here. This is going to be notched. Watch. Just watch, I promise. Sometimes it's just a wait and see process and seeing what the other person does. You can, there we go, see, we start with that right here at the bottom. I probably could have used just, no, actually, when you're using a Lindy's box, this is the best kind size to use. Then we're going to, if you want to draw out a cactus, please do. If you feel more comfortable drawing it out. I just happen to know what a cactus looks like. I lived in Arizona for a while. I think cactuses are cool. But like right now, I could have probably drawn it out because, well, maybe not. Let's see. There. And don't rip. Always cut. There. Look. We have cactus. Very similar. So this cactus is going to sit right in here, which we're not going to do yet because I want you to finish the other parts first. So now that we have this part of the cactus, we're going to make a couple of cuts in it, and we're just going to eyeball it because cardboard is forgiving. And that's to put on the bottom, but this cuts on the top. Watch. Through here. And about halfway down, because we're going to be making these three-dimensional. They're not just going to be like stick a cardboard piece of whatever in here. No way, man. These are three-dimensional. And we can actually use the scraps just from this piece. Let's just make it a little bit more flush again. So now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, what would make this sort of like, more three-dimensional? And I feel like this isn't down. Make this come down just a little bit more, because this part of the cactus is really bulky, if you didn't know. So this particular piece, you sort of want to mimic it. Sort of. And honestly, practice, practice, practice. I've been doing this a really long time. Oh, and we need a notch at the bottom of this too. Why notches? Notches. Because they slip into each other and hold better than if you're just going to put it in there without a notch. Now, I made that too tall. But that's easily fixable because I just need to cut down the cactus a little bit more. If I was already cut down to the bottom like this and made it that tall, then I would trim the top. But I wasn't. We'll get to the next part in a minute. So you're going to make for all three of them. And I actually think I want to cut these down just a little bit more. We're going to use some more of our, this is literally just one side of the Lindy's. And this one looks a little, you don't want to make them too thick. These are smaller. And if you need to make a couple of them until you figure out the right size, please do that. If you need help, please ask for that. Right, so you can see this one right here. It's a little bit too tall. And I've already cut it down to the bottom. I can do one of two things. What I think I'm going to do is the most sensible thing, is make a little bit larger of a cut in there and trim off a little of the bottom. You can do that too. You can trim in any of the spaces you need to trim in. It's just all about making it work. All right, so you just want it flush. See, we're just making them flush for now. Then we want one more. And we're gonna say it's about like that. I mean, all cactuses are different. There's no perfect cactus. We can make whatever kind of cactus. Oh, check it out, and that one's perfect. Sometimes it happens that way. The next thing we need to do, reinforcement. Because if we try to do anything to this, it's just gonna do this. It's gonna go flat, and we don't want it to go flat. So we are going to reinforce with some Scotch tape. This is a careful process because whenever you put the tape down, it's gonna stick there. So if you put it in the wrong spot, you might rip coming up. So just be careful in this process. But as you can see, I'm only putting 4 pieces of tape. I just want to secure the 4 corners, just like this, to stay open. That's it. This piece of tape is actually a little bit too big, but I can make it work. And just keep doing it. Sometimes tape is my worst enemy. I am very grateful that it is working for me well today. All right, 2 out of 3 finished. And this is why I didn't want you putting it in there first, because there's a lot of work that if a can were involved already, I mean, let's just not make more work for ourselves. It's not worth it. Human energy is valuable. And one more. So there we go. So basic shapes. And they're going to move a little bit until you get everything in place. That's okay. Now, remember, we cut holes in this. I mean, not holes. We cut little slits in this so that they would fit on here. Now we also want to cut little slits in approximately the same places in here. And we're going to take this off. Again, if you need help, get it. Please ask. Don't get frustrated. I would hate for you in this process to get frustrated and ruin this. All right, and then we're just going to tuck it into the sides there. And that looks a little bit too high, but that's okay. Since this was a new sort of design that I was using, I wasn't sure, but practice, practice, practice. Here we go, 1, and if you need to tape it, you only tape it when you know it's absolutely the way you want it. Something tells me I'm going to be trimming that top, because I don't really want to go any further down. I'm going to tape it here. The first time I didn't tape it because I was measuring it. I didn't even put the tape on both of the sides there. Silly me. Alright. Let's see. Here we go. Just kind of fit it in there. And I am just going to take an artistic liberty and make it a little bit shorter on this side because it was just driving me crazy. Here we go. Look at that. And that is actually more secure than this one, which I prefer. And there we go. Cardboard cactus in a can. Part 1. The second part, we are going to need some different materials. Painter's tape. I have to find some of that myself. And tissue paper or something. I'm not sure yet. It could be bubble wrap. Potentially bubble wrap. Maybe even garbage bags. I'm not sure, but you'll find out. How are we going to make this 3-dimensional? You're going to have to catch me on the next video. Have a great day and happy arting.